If you've gotten this far, then I got to congratulate you. It means that you've made your way through the money button mechanics, and we are on to learning how to craft a compelling piece of sales literature. Whether that is a website or a email or a full-on sales letter, we're going to get through the formula for that right now. And of course, it's really important that you went through everything we went through up to this point, because we're going to be referencing a lot of those pieces, the golden tip, the big idea, the avatar. All of these things are going to be so important in creating a compelling piece of sales copy. So I would almost say that it's worth it to go through it and not watch this section until you've done everything up to this point. As we discussed in the last section, some people just watch everything all the way through and then they go back and they do the homework. But if you've even done, let's say, 2 or 3 hours of prep work to before you've arrived here, this section is going to become a lot more useful for you, because you're going to have some context to work with. You're going to have some pieces to put in place as we go through the actual structure of the sales copy itself. So again, if you haven't done that yet, I would highly encourage you to pause it at the end of this video or audio segment, however you're consuming this, and go back and do the prep work. If you don't, it's just not going to be as useful. But that's my last reminder for it. So hopefully you've done it and we can move on from here. Now, what we've got from this point forward, or for the next few sections, is the structure of a compelling piece of sales copy. And it's everything that you need, nothing you don't. You can certainly add some things to what we have here, but this is going to represent everything that you absolutely need to make a sale. One of my copywriters, he came to me fairly early on the job, and he said, hey man, like these video sales letters, gosh, they're like 45, 50 minutes. I just don't think people have the attention span to sit through that anymore. And I really want to write one that's going to be 12 minutes long. And I said, okay, well, what are you going to cut? And he started going through it, and we had this conversation. He realized that, yeah, you can cut words, you can cut verbosity, you can cut a whole lot of stuff out of it, but there are core elements of a piece of sales copy that you just can't really cut. So that's what we are going to be covering today. And specifically, just to give you a table of contents on what these are, they are the headline and lead to capture people's attention and bring them in. The story itself to, the nightmare story, the discovery story as we talk about it. Now this could be introducing the problem and then introducing the solution itself. The solution intro could also blend into what we call the product intro. So that's, introducing the product. From the product intro, we have bullets and benefits. So what is it that you get? Why is it important? Then we have testimonials, and then I believe we have the offer itself, which we've talked about already, but we're going to talk about in a lot more depth. And then the close, and the close is where you actually close and ask for the sale. So that's what we have ahead of us right now. And a final thought about all of this. When I first started writing copy, I found it pretty difficult because I didn't really know these pieces. I didn't know the structure, and I wasn't working off any particular structure. So I would, look at another piece of copy and try to model it, but I didn't really know why all the pieces were there and what function they were performing. So my goal in going through this section with you is to help you identify what are the really important pieces of your sales copy and of your pitch. How do you fit them in? And what can you cut and what can you add? And just to make it a little easier to model other really strong performing pieces of copy or websites. We are going to include a whole lot of pieces of copy. We're going to break them down, explain exactly why they're working the way they're working, and what the, even paragraph by paragraph, why we think these are good pieces of copy. But, the overall structure, the meta structure, if you will, is everything that we're covering from this point forward. And so I'm very excited to jump into it. And despite what I said a moment ago, if you haven't already gone through and done all the money button mechanics, then I highly encourage you to do so, because you'll get so much more out of this section. So I'm going to assume that you've done that, and we're going to get started, and we're going to jump in by talking about the headline.